Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel today. We're back on GT Sport and we're back with the FIA Nations round at Bathurst in Group 2. So this is a quick catch up with the 3 races we did. So for this video today we're just catching up on the race 1, the slot 1 race. Now we did obviously do all 3 slots because there was a top 16 race in there as well, and I wanted to make sure I got in that because we haven't done a top 16 race yet. I did have the chance to do it in a previous race, but we opted to do the slot slightly after and we actually got quite good points from that. But for this round I was quite confident in my speed in the race that I felt I could, if I could hook qualifying up, we could get a good result. But this was slot 1 of the Nations race and we're starting from P8 there. You can see again qualifying was okay, it wasn't amazing, but it was quite a strong lobby. Obviously we got Bathurst in here, Devil, Adam, a lot of fast drivers all the way through the grid. So the main aim is to try and make up some places in this race. It's going to be tough though, very hard track to overtake on. I think they've actually slightly increased the top speed of these Group 2 cars since last time I raced around here, because it was pretty much impossible a while ago because you'd be on the limiter before you got to the end of the straight. As there, P7 makes a mistake, RC Snake making an error straight away on lap 1, puts me straight up to P7, but now we've got a bit of a gap to the cars in the train ahead, so I'm going to have to push on and try and get in that slipstream to help me out through the race, because if you're stuck behind, if you're a bit too far behind, you really want that slipstream for the back straight and the main straight to help you out. It does gain you up to like 2, 3, 4 attempts, etc., and that can be quite a lot of time over the space of the race as we work our way on the downhills. Very tricky downhill section in these Group 2 cars. They really do want to turn around on you, and you can see we're trying to push these cars extremely hard. You can see how close we're getting to the walls. Now one thing we did do, we started recording the actual race with proper gameplay footage on lap 3 I think it is. So for the first few laps you'll see here, we're just going to run through with the replay footage, and then we're going to skip through to the gameplay footage in a moment, because there was a couple of laps in this race where it was fairly static, so we won't concentrate too much on this. I've got 3 races to get through. We're going to do 3 separate videos like I said, so they're not going to be particularly long videos, they're going to be a bit more condensed, and we're going to try and get these out over the next few days to catch up with all the FIA rounds that I need to catch up on. As you see in front now, we've got Matthew and Manuel Rodri, and a little bit of a gap then to, I think it's Bathurst, then Afo in P3, TRL Adam in P2 and Devil in P1. But about to start lap 2, you can see we're in with this battle now. We've pretty much caught up with the train. We're just about picking the slipstream up. Obviously this was before the update when things got changed. As you see there, we skipped through to lap 3 now, when we've actually got the proper gameplay footage and the slipstream distance, etc., and how far we are behind everyone with a delta. So you can see quite a close battle between the group of cars in front of me. We've got, I think it's P2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and myself, all very close together in this very tight battle for the podium positions. But it's going to be very hard to make our way past on this track. Like I said before, it is quite hard if you've got like a train of cars picking up a slipstream off each other to make a way past. But then if you get a bit of a gap and the car's not picking that draft up, you can make a move in these cars with the higher gearing that they seem to have got since the last time we went here. I think the last time we went here was on daily races, when they were actually on weekly daily races. As we take a look at the replay camera just to show you just how close this battle is for the podium position. Just behind me also we've got 2 cars just outside the slipstream range. You can see there Williams Adams very close to picking that slipstream up, but like I say, this was before the patch. Obviously they changed the distance from the slipstream to about 1 second. When it was in this race it was around the 7/10 mark, and I actually think the 7/10 mark was better in my personal opinion. I think the 1 second range is a bit too strong. Even if the strength that it is picking it up from 1 second back is quite strong still, and I think it's a bit too much, and it's making it's creating a bit of a static race situation again with the very much like when we run weak slipstream on the road car races. You get a very like train like effect, but this is obviously running the older system. As we now start another lap right behind this battle, you see very close racing in this top split race with some very fast drivers all the way through the grid, and we're going to try and pick up the slipstream again up this hill. But you can see we've got that slipstream, but also he's got Manuel Rodri's slipstream there. But Manuel Rodri was starting to look a little bit edgy on some of the corners. I don't know if he was really pushing to try and get back into the slipstream of P4. He looked like he was really driving aggressively and starting to get very close to the edge of the track and the walls and stuff, and looking a little bit twitchy around some of the corners as well. There, Matthew there really pushing as well, trying to see if he can find a way past Manuel Rodri, although at Bathurst, it's extremely hard to find anywhere past other than the main straights really, and the final corner into the braking there's a possibility of an overtake there. But through this section it's pretty much single file. You can't really do much. There's not much opportunity to make a move. It's just too narrow and too fast paced, and then this downhill section is all about being on the brakes and keeping stability, so you just can't really go for a move anywhere around here. As you see, Matthew there getting a little bit sideways there, but getting on the power reasonably well and maintaining the stability once the power was down. But Manu Rodri also pushing. You see, everyone is really pushing. You see, I'm pushing to try and stay in the slipstream to make sure that PA isn't going to get too much of a slipstream from me, and Matthew's pushing to try and keep me out, and it's just like a cycle of everyone pushing. As you see, Devil actually looked like he was actually breaking away from this pack. He looked like with clean air. It is really nice to be in that clean air. You are able to push just that little bit harder and keep it a little bit more consistent. But also he was in the 08 Group 2 car, which is actually a little bit faster, I think, but its tyre wear was a bit of an issue. It wasn't as good on tyres as the GTR 2016 model that most people went in this race. So will that cost him towards the end? We'll have to check that out and see how this race progresses now, as we start in lap 5. So we're coming up to halfway in the race and it's still very, very close. Obviously the tyre wear is starting to kick in. This race did have reasonably high tyre wear. It was easily a no-stop race. There was no point pitting because you just lost too much. There was no way you can make up that amount of time in tops in like the first few splits, I would say, because it was just too much of a loss stuck in the pits, and there wasn't that much of a loss really in lap time. Even towards the end of the race when the tyres were wearing out, you were still able to do reasonably consistent time. So it's another thing where I think they could do with increasing these distances of these races, just so that we could add a pit stop in there to try and mix things up, make it so it can work, because they are getting a bit static, like we've said, for a number of weeks now. But hopefully, I think that once we've ended this season, the official season, we might see a change in the structure of FIA. I think possibly they're going to change stuff with the qualifying. I would think they'd be stupid not to, so I'm going to give them the benefit. I think that might happen when we go through back to exhibition seasons. We might get some like experimental settings, maybe slightly longer races again as well. That's one thing we all want as we now work our way back down the main straight, the back straight, sorry, right in the slipstream of Matthew now. And Matthew's right in the slipstream of Manu Rodri. Is he going to be able to go for a move into the fast chicane? It looks like he's got the speed. He's going to go down the right side. Manu Rodri is going to try and defend on the inside, but he really can't do much about that. It looks like he just tucks back in to pick the slipstream up. And now is he going to be able to have a move on Matthew there? Matthew went into that corner a little bit strong, but now I've got the draft. I decided to have a little look down that left-hand side, but I decided to back out of that. It felt too risky to go for that move into that braking zone and risk taking Manu Rodri and Matthew out in one corner. I really didn't want to do that, so backed out of that one and decided just to hold my ground and stay in this P7 and just stay in the slipstream for a bit, as we have got a car right behind us, although starting to pull away from PR1 slightly now. I think we're just he's getting dragged on in slipstream, but also the slipstream's helping me pull away as well in certain corners. You can see they're 1.1 seconds ahead, so we're able to not worry about the car behind me so much now. It's more about concentrating on see if we can find a way past Manu Rodri on this lap or another lap in the same place that Matthew did it. That's pretty much the best place to make an overtake work around Bathurst, purely because you pick up so much speed on the downhill with the slipstream. You can actually get ahead by a 4 cars width sometimes before you actually get into the braking zone. But now, again, single file through here. You can see everyone's scraping the walls, sparks flying off where everyone's really pushing these cars. Obviously the understeer is starting to kick in now. You can see the wear on the tyres. You're getting a little bit of understeer, but we ran our brake bias one to the rear. Now what this did for me was it made the rear a bit looser, but it gave me a really positive front end. So when I wanted the grip for the front of the car, it was actually quite good. As you see, Manu Rodri picking up a 1 second penalty there for what looks like a corner cut on that very tight downhill section. So 1 second, that's going to really hurt Manu Rodri down this straight. You can see how much it will lose him. He's going to probably lose about 2-3 seconds with that at least as we fly past. And now we're up to P6 in this race with just a few laps to go, but we've got a bit of a gap to Afo there, so we skip through to the start of the final lap because it was very static them next few laps. So we're going to go through to the final lap to see if we can make any progress in this race. You can see we're getting very close to Afo. We've managed to close that gap down, slightly better pace towards the end of this race. Then Afo looked like he was suffering a bit with the tyre wears on this final few laps. As Manuel Rodriguez, you can see there, 2.3 seconds behind. That shows you how much pace he lost. He lost about 3 seconds with that penalty, maybe more, which was a real shame. Obviously, it wasn't deliberate. I think it was a mistake through the corner that he made, but you do get punished for the even slightest little cuts or hits on the wall now on Gran Turismo. So now working our way through the middle sector now, coming to the middle sector at Bathurst for the final time in this race. You can see it's very close between P4 and 5. It looks like Afo's really putting a charge on in this final lap. He's got the slipstream to Devil there, who had made a mistake from the lead in this race. Obviously them tyres caught him out, and that's led to him losing a big amount of time. Now, are we going to be able to gain any positions from some battling here? You can see it's getting very close on the downhill sections. I get a massive moment of understeer there on the downhill section where we picked up the slipstream, lose the aero on the front of the car, and just don't have the grip to live with what I want to put through the car. But we're still in the battle. You can see we're just trying to pick up that slipstream down the straight. You can see just about in it, but you can see we're going to probably lose it as Afo's picking up a bigger draft from that 08 car in front of him. As he's going to go for a move down the straight, but just keep an eye on this. Afo goes to the left, he gets on the grass, and then there's a bit of contact, and they both wipe each other out of the race. I couldn't believe this when we were live. I did actually laugh a bit because it was just that crazy that I couldn't believe what had happened. But when we went back and watched it in the replay, it didn't look deliberate. It just looked like a racing incident where one car got on the grass, lost control of the rear, and then it just starts going a bit crazy, and they both just came into contact. And we benefited from that with a P4 from this slot 1 race, and quite lucky really. We were in P6, but we came away with nearly 2.5k points from this race, so a bit unfortunate. The frustrating thing was as well, you see Favaris managed to get himself into the lead of the race from quite far. He didn't even start at the front of the grid, I don't think, or did he? I can't remember where he actually started in that race. But the pace wasn't that amazing looking at the pace in this race. We did a practice race where we finished in 46. So I knew that my pace was there for the race, and that's why we decided to go again, even though we picked up nearly 2.5k points, which would have actually increased my points in the championship. However, we decided to do the top 16 race and another race as well. So we're going to go through them videos over the next few days as well to catch up with them races. But I hope you enjoyed that race. Wanted to just cut out the bits that were pretty boring. There were a few laps where there was just no action, but that incident with Afo and Devil really helped me out in picking up a reasonable race in that first slot race. So not a bad result, but again wasn't really good enough to be settled for. I needed to pick up like 2.8k points really to be happy. So we decided to go again. We'll catch up with that other video for another day, and hope you enjoyed this race. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, and make sure you click that notification button so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks again for watching, everyone.